All right, welcome back to the Watchfinder review channel. Today we got a really special one. We're going to be unboxing the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. Before we get started, quick wrist check. I got on the vintage Seiko 5 automatic today. Let me know down in the comments what you're wearing. So for full transparency, I have already opened this watch and worn it around a bunch. My fiance got me this watch as an engagement gift, so I have been wearing it for a few weeks at this point, but I wanted to do a full unboxing of the experience that you get when you purchase this watch. The box is very nice. If you ever bought a Tissot before, this is kind of their classic packaging. So you have the sleeve over the end. We'll take that off, put that off to the side. After this, you're left with sort of this matte black box with their classic red coloring in between. You can see right on the front, we have the logo, Swiss watches since 1853. Awesome watch brand. And let's go ahead and open this thing up. All right, so there it is. So I have the ice blue dial variation, and this is a 40mm watch. All right, so let's go ahead and take it out. Let's take a quick look at the watch and the dial. So such a beautiful color. I remember when I first unboxed this, I was a little bit surprised by the coloring. I expected it to be a little bit lighter, and I don't know if the camera picks it up super well, but it does. That blue, that light sort of baby blue does pop out at you more than you would expect, especially when you see it in sort of natural light or sunlight. All right, so we're gonna put this over to the side. We'll take a look at what's in the rest of the box. So pretty basic. First thing you're gonna have, if you got this sized already, is you're gonna have your extra links in here. If you don't have it sized, the links are already gonna be on the watch. We're gonna go ahead and look at the warranty card. So you're gonna wanna register your watch. Pretty basic. This will come with any new Tissot watch. Next, you'll have your instruction manual. I've never read through one of these. I'm sure you could if you really wanted to. It has, I think, pretty much every language in here that you could imagine. I usually just go to YouTube or Google if I have any questions on how the watch works. But you have this if you need it, and that's pretty much it. That's the full box here. Again, it's not the most premium or expensive box out there, but it is a nice box. Again, it's sort of this matte black finish. I'll definitely keep it around for storage and just keeping the watch safe if I ever move it. So let's put this off to the side and we'll take a closer look at the watch. So again, this is the ice blue dial variation, and this is the 40mm version. So again, the dials will come in either 35 or 40 at this point. They haven't released anything in between that. This is really hard to decide on. I think for a lot of people, if they want to go between the 35 and the 40. For myself, I would prefer something around a 38mm. For reference, this Seiko is a 36mm dial width. So 36 to 38 is kind of perfect for my wrist. 35 look a little bit too small on my wrist, so I actually tried this on in 35mm as well, and ended up going with the 40. Even though it's slightly big, it actually fits pretty well. So let's go ahead and take the watch off the cushion. So nothing super spectacular or special about this watch cushion. It is plush and it has a little bit of a spring to it. So I'm gonna put that aside. And let's take a look at the watch a little bit more closely. In my opinion, I think this is one of, if not the best dials that the Tissot PRX has. I was really back and forth between the darker sort of navy blue dial and this ice blue dial, and I ended up going with this one because I thought the darker blue looked a little bit too dark, and I really liked the way this sort of baby blue, ice blue popped out, especially in sunlight. So again, the thing that surprised me the most about seeing this watch in person was just how much this blue really popped. I think in a lot of the pictures you see online, and even in this video right here, it probably doesn't do it justice just how much this blue pops out. But if you see this on someone's wrist, it definitely catches your eye, but it's not to the point where it's an obnoxious color or it's too bright of a blue. It's a really subtle light blue, but it does pop just enough for it to kind of catch your eye. One of my first impressions when picking this thing up was just the weight of it. It has a really nice weight to it without feeling overly heavy. And again, I've worn this for a few weeks now, and I really haven't noticed it weighing me down or bothering me after wearing it for several hours. So I think it has a really kind of perfect balanced weight to it. One of the best things about this watch, and one of the first things I noticed, was just how nice this bracelet is. It's this really nicely brushed stainless steel, and again, it has a good amount of weight to it without being sort of overbearing. But you can see just how shiny it is and just how well brushed and polished this thing is. The back of the bracelet is pretty simple. We have Tissot, 1853, And then we have this butterfly clasp. So I don't know about you, I tend to prefer butterfly clasps over any other clasp type in a watch or a bracelet. I just think they're super easy to put on, take off. They're easy enough to resize. They don't come with any micro adjustments, but I don't find that to be a huge deal once I have the watch sized. But the clasp on this thing is really high quality. It has a really satisfying snap to it. And I think Tissot just did an outstanding job on this bracelet. And I think this is partially the reason why this watch is so popular, is just how beautiful this bracelet is and how good it feels. Another great thing about this bracelet is it has these quick release levers to easily be able to swap the bracelet on it. So I'll see if I can pull this off right now. But without any tools, just using your fingers, you should be able to pop the bracelet off and be able to change it with whatever you want. So again, this is an automatic watch, and it does have an open case back, which I think is one of the coolest pieces about this watch. And hopefully you can see just how awesome this open case back is and how much attention to detail Tissot paid on the back of this watch. So with the lettering on the back, you can see it says sapphire crystal, Tissot stainless steel. It's got the reference number, water resistant 10 bar. So it's 100 meter of water resistance, which is great for a watch like this. You're not going to go diving with it, but you should be totally fine in most other circumstances. You don't have to worry about this thing getting wet in the rain or in the shower, or if you even swim with this thing. I usually have no problem swimming with any watch with 100 meters of water resistance. So you should be totally fine with this outside of deep diving experiences. So really beautiful case back. I love all the little details and colors and being able to see the inside of this watch. And again, I think the really special feature here is just these quick release bars here that you don't really find on a lot of watches these days, which is kind of unfortunate. And again, it's super easy to kind of put that thing back in. It takes about 2 seconds. You just have to pull those bars on either end and snap the bracelet back into place. So my first impressions of this watch have been pretty phenomenal. I think it's such a good value for the money, just getting a well-made Swiss watch from Tissot with an open case back, with a beautiful, well-made bracelet, with a butterfly clasp. It's everything that I kind of look for and want out of a sort of a sportier watch that you can also dress up. But I just think it's an awesome watch overall. Again, I've been wearing this thing for a few weeks now, so I'll have another video breaking down more of the specs about this watch, going more in detail about my experience with it. But my first impressions of this watch have been really, really positive. Again, we can take a look at the Seiko for a size comparison. So this is a 36 millimeter dial. So let's take a look at how the Tissot stacks up in comparison. So you can see the Tissot is definitely a little bit bigger in pretty much all dimensions. And really, it's not even the case diameter itself that makes it feel a decent bit bigger. It's all this extra sort of case material and lug-to-lug distance that makes it feel like a more substantial watch, which is definitely not a bad thing. And it actually fits pretty well on my wrist, despite being sort of close to the limit of what I would consider a well-fitting watch on my own wrist. So you can see how that sort of matches up against the Seiko from a size perspective. But I really love that ice blue dial and the way the bracelet sort of shines with the light. So again, when you're getting a PRX, you can either get the 40 millimeter or you can get the 35. So the 35 is going to be a little bit smaller than this. Again, when I put on the 35 in person, it felt substantially smaller. I was actually wearing this Seiko in the Tissot store when I went on to try them. And going from this 36 millimeter Seiko to the 35 millimeter PRX felt like a substantial difference. And my fiance actually tried on the 35 millimeter, and she is really small. She has really small wrists, and it actually didn't look that bad on her. So I would say if you have a medium to a large size wrist, you're definitely gonna wanna go with the 40 millimeter. I think the 35 is just a little bit too small, and I don't think you get enough of the dial on the 35 to really be able to appreciate it. So make sure to like, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Keep an eye out for some more in-depth PRX reviews and obviously other watches that we review on the channel. If you're thinking about getting a PRX, one of the really cool things you can do is actually get it right on Amazon. You're still buying it directly from Tissot, but it's gonna ship through Amazon, so it's gonna be really quick, Returns are really easy if you don't like it for whatever reason. So it still comes with all the same warranties and customer support that you would get buying it directly through Tissot, but you might be able to get it much quicker, and you can also take advantage of Amazon's customer support and returns if needed. I'll leave a link in the description or the comments down below if you're interested in checking it out on Amazon. That's it for today. I'll see you next video.